Tropical disturbances in both the Atlantic and the Pacific, and we also have severe weather going from the Ohio Valley all the way to the Southern Plains. Good morning, I'm meteorologist Pew. Today is September 5th, 2025. We have a lot of things going on with the tropics, and starting with the Atlantic, there's one tropical disturbance that we've been looking at for the past few days. In my previous videos, I said if this tropical disturbance formed below this latitude, then we should be concerned, and the National Hurricane Center is pretty confident that when this tropical disturbance forms, it's going to be below this latitude, so places like Puerto Rico and the States have more of a risk to make landfall, so we're definitely have to keep an eye on it. It still hasn't formed yet, but now there's a 60% chance of something forming in the next 48 hours and a 90% chance of something forming in the next 7 days. And jumping to the Pacific, we still have Hurricane Kiko, which is a Category 3 at 125 miles per hour sustained winds. It does appear his projected path is shifting a little bit more away from the islands, but Hawaii is still a risk to make landfall. Luckily though, it is predicted that Kiko will still be weakened by the time it reaches to Hawaii as a Category 1 or a tropical storm by Tuesday. And this is because when this hurricane travels a little bit more north in terms of latitude, the sea surface temperatures are lower, but there's also a little bit of shear, which hurricanes do not like. So if Hurricane Kiko does stay on track, you can expect Hawaii to have some tropical storm winds. And remember that tropical storms and hurricanes are low pressure, so they spin counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere, and because the islands are projected to be on the left side of when this storm passes through, it's going to decrease the severity of the impact than if it was on the right side of the storm. Now Hurricane Lorena is now a post-tropical cyclone, and so we're still having remnants of the moisture in Arizona and New Mexico. But also including the West, all these places can still expect isolated storms around 1 p.m. Mountain Time. And for Oregon and Washington State, there is a fire risk for isolated dry thunderstorms. So speaking of storms, the Storm Prediction Center has issued a slight risk, or 2 out of 5, stretching from the Tennessee Valley to the Ohio Valley, but also a marginal risk stretching from all the way up there to the Southern Plains. And today we have all hazards on the table. We have a 2% risk to see an isolated tornado, a 15% chance to see winds up to 60 miles per hour, and a small chance to see isolated hail. Storms are going to start initiating in the Southern Plains, such as Texas first, around 3 p.m. Central Time. And from the Mississippi Valley to the Ohio Valley, we can see isolated to clusters of storms around 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're going to see a continuation of these clusters that are going to travel eastward pretty much throughout the evening and into the night and even into next morning. But as it goes later into the night, the severity of these storms will turn more into showers. And this is all happening because we have a really strong cold front going all the way from Ontario to the valleys to the Southern Plains. And this cold front's heading into areas where it's anticipated for temperatures to reach upper 80s to 90s and dew points from the mid 60s to 70s. So these places are already unstable. But on top of that, if we look at satellite imagery from the Mississippi Valley to the Ohio Valley, we have pretty clear skies, and that's going to help with more surface heating, more instability. And with that, we also have a low pressure somewhere around Texas, and that's counterclockwise flow, and a high pressure somewhere around the Florida Panhandle, and that's clockwise flow. And with these two combined, we're having southwesterly winds going from the Mississippi Valley to the Ohio Valley, bringing in that warm tropic air to these areas. And actually, I'm going to add one more thing, because if you notice, the severe risk is actually going along the app. And the reason why is because when this cold front enters this area, the elevations are also going to get a little bit higher, which is going to cause orographic lift. And that's why we have